Hey everyone! If you enjoyed this video, the full version is available on Patreon. I'll be uploading all my content there going forward.
Chapter 1. Aizen, wait for me, in the actual combat class next month, my eldest brother will definitely avenge me. The Land of Fire, Konoha Village, the gate of the ninja school. A boy who was about 8 or 9 years old, his face was blue and purple, and his face was bruised and bruised, roared viciously at a boy in front of him in a slightly crying tone. After speaking, he turned around and ran away, as if he was afraid that this sentence would cause revenge from the person in front of him. Looking at the guy who ran away without a trace, the young man did not respond, instead he looked dazed and ignorant. Oh, this guy, you've been scared stupid. No, I heard that the eldest brother of the Sarutobi group is the famous Senju Nawaki. This guy Aizen will be embarrassed in next month's grade-level combat class. Humph, even a commoner ninja dares to offend the majesty of the ninja clan. This is asking for trouble. It's better to teach Aizen a lesson and let him remember. Yes, let him understand that in the entire Konoha, only we nobles are the real ninjas. At this time, it was the closing time of the ninja school, and there was an endless stream of students going home. After watching the previous full martial arts, words of regret, sigh, and ridicule went to the young man one after another. Listening to the surrounding discussions, the boy called Aizen still did not respond. At this time, only the famous 3 questions of life echoed in his mind. Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? Aizen, surnamed Lan and Mingran, was originally a Hwazayake who lived on Earth. In addition to not having the earth-shattering strength of Aizensuke, the famous villain in Shinigami, he is by no means inferior to Aizen in Shinigami in terms of mental ability. When he was only 15 years old, he entered the junior class of Shuimu University. At the age of 18, he obtained a doctorate in biology from Shuimu University. At the age of 22, he entered a top biological research institute and engaged in confidential biological research work. Aizen is a genius with great ideas and patterns. He wants to change the fragile life form of human beings, and wants to use bioengineering technology to make the human body gain more lifespan, and even, including gaining extraordinary power. In the end, Aizen was almost there. Under the frantic experiment at all costs, a human cell-based transformation man appeared. Not only has the ability of lizards to recover from severed limbs, but also the discharge ability of electric eels. Seeing the realization of his dream for many years, Aizen was trembling with excitement, and almost immediately started his own bioremediation surgery. And it's almost because biomodification is a very complex and rigorous science. Every life is constructed uniquely. Just like prescribing medicines for people with the same disease, doctors will always list some different time, dosage, and even different medicines according to each person's different conditions. Aizen is a very cautious person. At the beginning, I tested the fusion of my own cells and the modified cells, and later cloned my own body, and carried out more than 10 bioengineering experiments. The results were all great success. Then, Aizen moved forward with his reconstruction surgery with confidence. As a result, he burps because of cell rejection. A generation of genius has fallen. Whoa! Me? It seems like I'm dead, isn't it dead? And what is all around here? Aizen looked at his short hands and feet, and then looked at the unfamiliar environment around him, with a confused expression on his face. Ah, it hurts, it hurts. Suddenly, a sharp, needle-like pain swept through Aizen's mind, and at the same time, there were a lot of unfamiliar memories. This made his body involuntarily lean against a telephone pole next to him, covering his head with his hands, showing pain on his face. After a long time, when the pain subsided, a memory named Konoha Aizen appeared in Aizen's mind. Moreover, the other party also has the same name and surname as him, also called Aizen. At the same time, he also learned the fact that he had traveled to the world of Hokage ninjas. The background of the original protagonist is the same as that of most protagonists. As the so-called protagonist's parents are high-risk occupations, he is no exception. The original owner's parents died in a mission without incident, completing the basic achievement of parents offering sacrifices to heaven. And the original owner himself is also excellent in the ninja school. Although it is not comparable to top talents such as the much-anticipated Namikaze Minato and Senju Nawaki, nor to the prestigious blood secret arts families such as Hyuga, Abarame, Inyazuka, Inoshika Ch, etc., but it can still be second only to in the upper two levels. The results have been maintained in the top 10 of the grade. To put it nicely, he is a little genius. Not only that, the original owner is sincere and gentle with others on weekdays, and will always help students who are in difficulty within his capacity, so he has an excellent reputation among many students, especially those in the civilian department. Of course, this isn't entirely a good thing. The Sarutobi group was a bully in the school just now, and liked to bully some civilian students on weekdays. And the Sarutobi group, relying on their Sarutobi clan's identity and good strength, is notorious among the school's civilian students. It just so happened that the original owner came across the Sarutobi's Haiden who was bullying his classmates again, and the one who was bullied was his close friend, Kitagawa Shuji. Then the original owner shot mercilessly and gave Sarutobi a lesson. Of course, the anger helped friends out, but it also left hidden dangers. After learning this information, Aizen was really speechless. Isn't it stupid to offend the Sarutobi clan for a friend who has a little friendship, and to provoke a top genius like Senju Nawaki by the way? Although from the memories of the original Tsunade, Senju Nawaki seems to be the same Iron Man as Uzumaki Naruto. But don't forget, this guy later became Orochimaru's disciple. Aizen didn't believe that Orochimaru would be attracted to someone with a personality like Uzumaki Naruto. It's hard to do, it's a mess. Although the original owner is called Aizen, he is completely different from Aizen in Shinigami. You need to have no IQ in terms of IQ, and no talent or talent. In Hokage, this bloodline can dominate everything. In the world, isn't this the rhythm of dying? Aizen thought with some distress. Ding! Feel that the soul of the body has successfully transmigrated and merged, and the villain system of the world is activated. Chapter 2. This is the system. Feeling the mechanical sound that seemed to come from his mind, Aizen's expression suddenly became strange. Although he was an out-and-out engineering man in his previous life, he also had the habit of chasing anime and reading novels, so he was no stranger to this legendary time travel must-have cheat. Yes, this system is the great villain system of 10,000 realms, which is specially designed to cultivate the strongest villain in all worlds. The voice said with a hint of pride. Cultivate the villain? Also cultivate the strongest villain in the world. Aizen's eyes became even more eccentric. Although the name of his past and present life is an out-and-out villain. However, he has always thought of himself as a good person. Although he did cause some innocent sacrifices for some biological experiments in his previous life. But can scientific things be called villainous behavior? This is for the development and progress of all mankind. What is the small cost in the process? Aizen nodded in agreement with this, his face full of contentment. However, whether this system cultivates villains or decent, it will give the host a huge help. Simply put, it's on. So Aizen will not be too concerned about this matter. After all, the only way to survive in this world is to become stronger. System, what function do you have? Do you get points by fighting monsters, or do you get rewards by signing in? Aizen asked in his mind with a hint of anticipation. In the world of Hokage ninjas, it is not easy to die. Especially from the memory of the original owner, it is actually 32 years old of Konoha. What time is this? In one more year, the Second Ninja World War will begin. Thinking of this, even Aizen, who has always been calm, couldn't help but want to scold her mother. When he first came to the world of Hokage, he somehow offended the Sarutobi clan, and indirectly he might offend the Senju clan, and then he had to face the second ninja war. No one is lucky. Therefore, Aizen urgently needs to become stronger at this time. Sorry, the host body has not yet become the host of this system, and any system functions will not be open to the host body. The system is indifferent. What? Aizen was taken aback. After a long time, he is not a host, just a host. However, Aizen did not panic, and continued to ask calmly, so, how can I become a host? Requires the completion of special achievements. System Guide. What special achievement, can you be more specific? Aizen frowned. Sorry, this matter cannot be told to the host body according to the rules, you can only rely on yourself to explore. System Road. I number, what's the difference between this and nothing? Just tell me a special achievement to complete, the ghost knows what this thing is. After listening to the system's words, Aizen took a few quick breaths, but he still couldn't hold back his breath, and a foul language burst out in his heart. In his previous life, as a veritable darling of the heavens, he was first class in both energy-raising skills and quality cultivation, and he rarely experienced violent emotional ups and downs, especially after he became famous. Aizen hadn't scolded anyone for a long time. Unexpectedly, the defense will be broken by a system today. Although, this system is indeed a bit outrageous. However, although the functions of the system cannot be opened to the host, it will still give the host a primary package to help the host complete the test of becoming a host. Perhaps knowing the small emotions in Aizen's heart, the system supplemented it in a timely manner. Hearing this, Aizen's ugly face finally calmed down. The system's primary package is the lifelong memory of Shinigami character Aizen-suke, as well as his own Zanpakuto, Kaika Suigetsu. Distributed to the host now. The system continued to speak kindly. Aizen-suke's memory in Shinigami, and Zanpakuto Kaika Suigetsu. Hearing this, Aizen's eyes suddenly lit up. However, just when he wanted to continue to ask the system about some specific details, a sharp pain like receiving the original owner's memory struck again. Ding! The system's primary package has been issued, after which the system will enter a dormant state. If the host cannot complete the host achievement task, the system will not appear again. Just when Aizen had a splitting headache, the increasingly weak mechanical sound of the system continued to sound until it disappeared completely. System, your uncle's. Aizen couldn't help but let out a scolding. This is his second break today. After coming here for a while, after Aizen completely accepted Shinigami Aizen's memory, he supported the telephone pole and began to breathe slightly. Like this, those who didn't know thought that there was a female hooligan who did something to him. Aizen, are you okay? Are you worried because of Sarutobi's words? Just after Aizen's status replied, a concerned voice came. Aizen turned his head and saw that it was Konoha Aizen's good friend in memory Hokage Kitagawa. Kitagawa Hokage and Aizen are the same age, both are 8 years old, and they are still classmates in the same class. His body is a little thin, with black hair and black pupils, and his appearance is a little delicate. It's okay, it's just a small problem with the body. Aizen smiled slightly, making the same kind and gentle expression as the original owner. Now he is occupying the magpie's nest. Strictly speaking, he is a black man. In a world with extraordinary powers like Hokage, everything has to be cautious and not arouse suspicion from others. Did you get hurt in the battle with the Sarutobi group just now? It's all my fault. If it wasn't for me, Aizen, you wouldn't have been hurt, and you wouldn't have offended those ninjas. Kitagawa Hidesu said guiltily. He was in a very bitter mood at this time, feeling that Aizen was in trouble because of himself. Looking at the friend of the original owner, Aizen squinted his eyes and felt a little pain in his heart, but he still pretended to be gentle and said, "It's okay, Shiiji-kun, as a friend, this is what I should do, you don't have to let it go." In the heart. This sentence made Baichuan Shiiji very moved, and his heart was full of rumblings. But, the trouble caused by the Sarutobi group. Kitagawa Shuji opened his mouth and wanted to say something. Don't worry, I have a way to deal with them. You don't have to worry, I have to go home quickly if I have something to do, and you should go back too. However, Aizen didn't want to care about Baichuan Shiji's mood at this time, and he didn't want to continue talking to the other party. Now he just wanted to leave this place with many eyes and test the power of Kaika Suigetsu in his soul. Chapter 3. Looking at the back of Aizen leaving in a hurry, Baichuan Shiji always felt that today's friends were a little different from usual. However, he couldn't tell him exactly that. Could it be that it was because of my cowardice and incompetence that Aizen was disappointed in me? Also, how can someone like me be friends with Aizen? When he was bullied by the Sarutobi group just now, he could only hide on the ground without saying a word. When Aizen made his righteous move, he only dared to see that Aizen's situation was not right after the Sarutobi group left for a long time, so he mustered up the courage to come forward to comfort Aizen. No, I must change myself. Aizen is such a gentle and excellent person, I must become a friend worthy of him. Seemingly thinking of something, Baichuan Shiji gritted his teeth, looked back at the direction Aizen left, and made a resolute decision. Aizen, who had long since left, didn't know that because of his unintentional action, the fate of a teenager was changed. Muye East Street, a relatively remote residential area. Aizen's home is a Japanese-style house with a single-family house. Although this location is relatively remote on East Street, its location is quite close to the center of Konoha as a whole. The original owner's father was just an ordinary Chunin, but his mother was a real Jainin. Strong women and weak men belong to Yes. Don't look at Jainin's lack of presence in the original work, especially Konoha's Anbu, almost every time he appears, he dies. But for every great ninja village, Jainin-level combat power is the absolute pillar of a village. Even if they are as powerful as Konoha, there are only a few hundred people in total. Therefore, the family of the original owner has barely entered the upper class in Konoha village. Of course, after the death of the original owner's parents, class decline is inevitable. After Aizen returned home, he immediately locked himself in the house, immersing himself in his mind. At this moment, in the space of his soul consciousness, a tachi with an emerald green hilt is quietly floating in it. It is Zanpakut, the strongest hallucinogen in Shinigami, Kaika Suigetsu. Its ability is complete hypnosis. After use, it can fully control the practitioner's vision, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. It can make the practitioner change the appearance, shape, and even touch of an object. In the words of Aizen in Shinigami, you can turn flies into dragons and swamps into flower fields. This is an incomparably powerful ability. However, using Kaika Suigetsu requires Ryutsu, and I don't have that thing right now. Aizen frowned, thinking about a painful question. This was also one of the main questions he wanted to ask the system before accepting Shinigami Aizen's memory. Obviously, there are still some issues with Shinigami stuff in the Hokage world. Still, if it was before, it was a big problem for Aizen. However, after accepting Shinigami Aizen's memory, Aizen's understanding of the soul can be said to be the best in the ninja world. It can even be said that Shinigami Aizen's lifetime memories are far beyond the value of a Kaika Suigetsu. In this memory, not only Shinigami Aizen's hundreds of years of life experience and fighting experience, but also the top kid, Shunpo, white hits, kendo, and various soul secret arts and soul experiments in the Shinigami world. These things, although not as powerful as the one that Kaika Suigetsu added to Aizen at the beginning, but in the future of Aizen's growth Vice Admiral will have inestimable value. For Aizen, these things are simply an immeasurable treasure. If Kaika Suigetsu brings Aizen to the present, then the memory of Shinigami Aizen represents the future of Aizen. Its true value goes far beyond Kaika Suigetsu. The energy of the Hokage world, chakra, is the fusion product of body energy and spiritual power. In essence, chakra also has the attributes of soul power. It is not impossible to use chakra as the energy source to drive Zanpakuto. Aizen lowered his head and considered it for a while, then clicked nod. In theory, chakra is also a kind of spiritual energy, and it is possible to replace Ryutsu. Do what she wants. Aizen activates the few chakras in her body, and starts to experiment according to the method of urging Zanpakuto in the Shinigami world. At the same time, Kaika Suigetsu in the soul also reacted, and the blade kept humming and trembling. Then, Kaika Suigetsu flew out of the soul and gradually emerged into Aizen's hands. Is this Kaika Suigetsu? Aizen held Kaika Suigetsu across his chest, reached out and stroked the bright blade, and Jnin's eyes couldn't help showing a hint of joy. With Kaika Suigetsu, he has a bit of self-preservation in this cruel ninja world. It's just that I can't use Shikai's abilities right now. Suddenly, Aizen seemed to think of something again, shaking his head and sighing. The moment he summoned Kaika Suigetsu just now, he tried to use Kaika Suigetsu's Shikai ability, but it failed unexpectedly. The Shikai of Zanpakuto requires a certain amount of energy. In Shinigami, it is not uncommon for many ordinary Shinigami to be unable to use Shikai for their entire lives. Even though Aizen has the memories of Shinigami Aizen, knowing Kaika Suigetsu can drastically reduce the minimum energy usage requirements, but it's still far from enough. However, Aizen is not discouraged. No matter how strong Kaika Suigetsu's power is, it is only an auxiliary ability after all. There is no solution to complete hypnosis, and after all, it just makes the enemy's five senses delusional. There is no Uchiha Itachi Tsukuyomi's ability to kill people directly, nor the ability of ordinary illusions to put people into a sluggish state. Also, Kaika Suigetsu's hypnosis technique does not require much energy, but in the subsequent hypnosis process, it requires a lot of energy. In particular, the stronger the opponent, the more energy it needs. The power of Aizensuke in Shinigami is omnidirectional. Aizen, who had all his memories, knew this even more. In a way, it was not Kaika Suigetsu who made Aizensuke, but Aizensuke who made Kaika Suigetsu. Thinking of this, Aizen's eyes suddenly firmed up. The road to the strong, there is no shortcut. From today onwards, the assiduous cultivation will begin. Chapter 4. Since you have decided to practice, energy practice is essential. Especially Aizen's strongest whole card at this stage, Kaika Suigetsu. This is a giant beast that devours energy. Aizen has also tried the practice of Ryutsu. After all, Ryutsu is a far higher energy than ordinary chakra. But whether it can be done or not, Aizen has no idea. In the world of Shinigami, Ryutsu's cultivation must rely on the spirits scattered between heaven and earth. However, the ghost knows whether there is such a thing as a spiritual child in the Hokage world. But Aizen still gave it a try with a fluke. As a result, there are no surprises in 2 words, no. However, although there is no Reiki, Aizen unexpectedly discovered that the absorption and cultivation method of Reiki in Shinigami is equally effective on the energy spread in the world of Hokage. This energy, if nothing else, is the native energy of the Hokage world, natural energy. Discovering this, Aizen can be said to be ecstatic. Through the combination of self-energy and chakra, the magic chakra can be created. This is the high-level energy in the Hokage world that can compete with the bloodline snare. If this energy can be successfully cultivated, then Aizen's strength and trump card will undergo earth-shaking changes. However, before Aizen was happy for long, he quickly thought of another thing and decisively stopped absorbing natural energy. Although the natural energy is powerful, there are also huge risks. In the original work, Miyamu Mountain, which has been studying and cultivating natural energy for thousands of years, still has many toads turned into stone statues due to the cultivation of natural energy, which shows that the risk is high. And there is no experimental evidence to show that the natural energy in the Hokage world can be absorbed smoothly by the method of absorbing the spiritual child of Shinigami. Although it seems feasible at this stage, Aizen, who has the shadow of his past life, dare not gamble. Of course, this does not mean that Aizen has given up his plan to cultivate natural energy. In the Hokage world, there is a practice technique that is very suitable for avoiding risks, shadow clone technique. As the signature ninjutsu of the protagonist in the original work, it can not only average the chakra in one's body to create a physical clone, but also feed back all the situation of the clone's cultivation perception to the main body, which can be called a cheating device for practice. In the original book, Uzumaki Naruto also used this technique to practice natural energy. Although the release of shadow clone will return the energy carried in the body to the main body, it is also accompanied by certain risks. But the essence of the connection between its avatar and the body is still the soul. In the Hokage world, the means to target the soul are very limited. But in the Shinigami world, there is a way to cut the connection of the soul. The easiest is to just split with Zanpakuto. Practice with shadow clone, even if you fail in the end, you will just lose a chakra clone. However, this also has a problem, that is, after cutting off the connection with shadow clone, the clone's memory of changes in the body will not return to the main body. This caused some trouble. However, Aizen also quickly came up with a solution. That is, like doing a scientific experiment, record the way of absorbing natural energy each time, and then observe the shape and changes of shadow clone in turn, and then analyze the specific problems according to the specific problems, and find the solutions to the problems in turn. This method may seem stupid, but science is like this, there are no shortcuts. The hard work and sweat behind the seemingly simple scientific achievements are beyond the imagination of ordinary people. They basically downplay the achievements of scientists to the word genius. Although trouble is a little trouble, there is no better way for Aizen. However, the shadow clone technique is not easy to obtain. In the words of Hitaki Kakashi in the original book, this is a secret technique that was once stolen by spies from other villages. The shadow clone technique is not available, and the practice of natural energy cannot be carried out for the time being. Fortunately, through Aizen's experiments during this period of time, the 4 skills in Shinigami, Cut Fists, and Go Ghosts, except that Kid seems to be unable to use due to the low quality of chakra energy, and the skills of Kendo, White Hits, and Shunpo can also be activated by chakra. Even some of Shinigami's secret spells that require the use of Ryutsu can be used. Among them, some secret techniques that do not require much energy but are of great practical value are very helpful to Aizen. What else is there to say? Aizen can only honestly practice ordinary chakra. The first step is to collect resources. It is worth mentioning that after the death of the original owner's parents, because he missed his parents too much and had a feeling of seeing things and people, the original owner never sorted out the relics of his parents. While scolding the original owner for being brainless in his heart, Aizen's hands were not polite at all. After tossing through boxes and cabinets in the house for a long time, he really gained a lot. A seemingly very advanced chakra refining technique, after Aizen practiced, the speed of practice was more than 20 times faster than that taught by the school. There is also a training scroll for Taijutsu. Aizen, who has the memory of Shinigami White Hits, knows that he is not ordinary. Even more exaggerated are all kinds of escape techniques, including water-style water-severing wave, water-style water dragon bomb, fire-style huo huoke, earth-style earth flow wall, lightning-style thunder dragon bullet, etc. B-level and C-level ninjutsu to say a few 10. Even Aizen found that there are several A-level ninjutsu such as fire-style Longian singing, water-style hard vortex water blade. Simply outrageous. It is estimated that some ordinary second and third-rate ninja families in Konoha are not so wealthy. It seems that the identity of the original owner's mother is not simple. Aizen guessed secretly. As for the original owner's father? Sorry, it was automatically ignored by Aizen. Then, the surprises are far more than that. After a period of training, Aizen was surprised to find that the original owner, who he had rated as a second-rate talent at the end, actually increased the amount of chakra infinitely close to genin in just 10 days of training. After that, Due to physical limitations, chakra's cultivation speed gradually began to slow down. Not only in the practice of chakra, but also in the control of chakra, tree climbing and water treading training, Aizen has passed it almost once. Even Aizen himself felt incredible in the practice of escaping, especially the speed of learning the master of water style. In the process of such rapid growth, Aizen's strength is almost the same every day. Chapter 5. Water Style Water Severing Wave. Beside a creek in the eastern suburbs of Konoha, I saw Aizen's hands were imprinted, his mouth opened, and a slender high-pressure water gun spewed out from it. Puff puff. The sharp water jets are like lasers, and in a few flashes, the big trees across the river are like butter being cut open by a hot knife, and they will not break with the force of blowing dust. Hoo hoo. Aizen bent down and panted, a few drops of sweat streaming down her cheeks. At the same time, the clear river water also reflected his appearance at this time. It was a handsome face, with three-dimensional features, brown hair, and brown eyes. Even if he was young, he could still tell that he was a good handsome boy. The most eye-catching thing is that the boy at this time was wearing a black training suit similar to Shinigami's Death Tyrant outfit. His hair was combed into the 3 or 7 points when Shinigami Aizen first appeared, and he also wore a pair on his face at some point in time. Flat glasses with black frame. This looks like a teenage version of Aizen who hasn't betrayed Soul Society. It's not that Aizen has any special feelings, it's purely because the loose material of this training suit is more suitable for practicing kendo, and wearing glasses mainly wants to create a gentle and harmless image, which is convenient for wretched development. After all, who would believe that a well-mannered, handsome guy with black-rimmed glasses would be a very shrewd person? This is also the inspiration he got in Shinigami Aizensuke's memory. As far as he knows, when Shinigami Aizensuke was wretchedly developed in Soul Society, he specially worked on his own character and personality. Whether it is the gentle and elegant temperament, or the image of a polite old man, it will arouse the favor of most people. At least, few people will have hatred. It can be said that Shinigami Aizensuke knows the essence of Go. Otherwise, how could that guy have been dormant in Soul Society for hundreds of years without being discovered? With such an excellent role model in front, how could Aizen not learn? I didn't expect the original master's talent to be so outstanding. Even a highly difficult B-level ninjutsu like Water Severing Wave can master quickly. My previous judgment was really arbitrary. Leaning slightly, Aizen's state recovered, and he nodded with satisfaction as he looked at the messy scene across the river. According to Aizen's estimation, according to the innate ability displayed by this body today, it is not inferior even to Namikaze Minato. As for why this body suddenly showed such excellent talent, at first, Aizen thought it was because of the enhancement of his soul due to his transmigration. It is undeniable that this is indeed one of the reasons, especially Aizen's performance in terms of perception and neural reflexibility is particularly prominent. But that's not the only reason. Later, Aizen discovered that the previous guess was ridiculously wrong. Through careful study of the original owner's memory, he learned that the original owner was strictly trained in physical skills by his mother when he was young, making his physical fitness far superior to those of his peers. In the process of training, the original owner can be called pervert whether it is physical strength, recovery, or rapid enhancement of physical fitness. It can be said that the original owner's talent is very good, and the foundation of the ninja is extremely solid. It was only because of the death of his parents that the original owner did not continue the training. However, even so, the original owner was able to defeat the Sarutobi group of the Sarutobi clan with only 3 punches and 2 kicks by relying on the ninja common sense taught by the ninja school, which shows that his talent is terrifying. Now, Aizen is just digging out the original owner's own talent. Coupled with the fusion with the soul that Aizen has passed through, he has the talent that is now called pervert. The practice of ninjutsu can come to an end for the time being. Now that I am not even a genin, I can barely use B-level ninjutsu. The next step is the training of perception ability in kendo. Aizen lowered his head and thought. Different from the refining of chakra, which can be practiced at home, the practice of escaping requires a huge space. Aizen's chakra has 3 attributes: earth, fire, and water. Among them, the talent of the water attribute is the strongest, the earth attribute is the second, and the fire attribute is the worst. So in the past few days, Aizen has focused on practicing water style. At present, he has mastered 3 ninjutsu techniques: Master Water Style Water Severing Wave, Water Style Water Wall, and Water Style Water Rush. Others have also mastered the 2 techniques of Earth Style, Snorkeling in the Earth, and Fire Style, Flaming Bomb. Of course, the ninja-based 3-body technique and the throwing of hidden weapons Aizen have not let go, especially the body replacement technique and the 3-body technique. Aizen is more focused on practicing. In the original book, even in the battle of cage-level powerhouses, the appearance rate of this technique is extremely high. Clang! A sharp sound of metal friction sounded. Aizen slowly drew a sharp black sword from the scabbard tied around his waist. The reason why it is not Kaika Suigetsu is because Aizen's 8-year-old body is not suitable for using Kaika Suigetsu, so Aizen specially went to the ninja shop to order a black tachi that is 1/3 shorter than the ordinary tachi. As for Kaika Suigetsu, it is placed in the consciousness space and can be taken out at any time when needed. This is probably an invisible benefit given by the system. As for why I specially got a knife to practice, then I have to mention Shinigami Aizen's strongest ability. If you were to ask what Aizen's strongest ability in Shinigami was, there would be many different opinions. Some will say Kaika Suigetsu, some will say Kid, and some will definitely say Ryutsu. But Aizen, who accepts his memory, will definitely answer, Kendo. Cut fists and go ghosts. These 4 basic skills of Shinigami, whether it is the superb white hits, or the coquettish shunpo, or the cool kid, have a large number of appearances in Shinigami. Only Kendo, which is the first of the 4 major skills, has very few appearances. Apart from Anohanaretsu and Zaraki Kenpeki among Shinigami, only Aizen's is used most frequently. Especially when Aizen's knocked out a captain with Kaika Suigetsu in his first shot, the shock he caused was unparalleled. Not to mention the famous scene of 1 captain and 1 knife afterward, which directly stunned the friends who were watching at that time. Under the sunlight, a bright light reflected from the blade to Aizen's glasses, illuminating Aizen's eyes that had been somewhat unclear under the lenses. Aizen's light brown eyes are gorgeous. It is like a clear lake, gentle, delicate and pure, as if a sincere and kind soul can be seen from it. However, under this seemingly calm lake, there are countless turbulent undercurrents, full of dangers, which is in stark contrast to the calm and peaceful surface. It's elusive and elusive. Aizen stroked the blade with 1 hand, and there was a solemn look in his eyes. He takes Kendo very seriously, even more so than Kaika Suigetsu. Because, only he who has accepted all the memories of Aizen's will deeply understand that Kendo, what a terrible power it is. Chapter 6. What is Kendo? This stuff is common in many works of ancient and modern Daxia and abroad. Whether it is the sword fairy flying with the sword in the ancient Hyuxia legend, or the swordsman in the martial arts novel, or the swordsman in the pirates, or the samurai in the Rurouni sword. Kendo. It's an inescapable topic. In many legends, Kendo often gives people an unfathomable and mysterious feeling, which makes many people who eat melon feel ignorant. But in reality, Kendo is nothing more than a martial arts technique that combines physical fitness and concentrates strength on one point through various moves. It can be said in a simple sentence. In the extraordinary world, at most, there is a powerful body with energy, which can slash faster and stronger. The most, that is, the energy in the body is attached to the sword body, adding a little special effect. Of course, if you want to be more cool, you can also convert energy into fire, ice, or wind blades and other things. The key to Kendo is to condense one's own strength to the greatest extent so that it can exert 100%, or even 200%. In particular, the stronger the person, the greater the role he can play. In the original book, Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama were blown away, but Aizen didn't really like it. Especially the Battle of the Valley of the End, it's just hot ice. Whether it's Beast's Dilemma or True Several Thousand Hands, it's essentially a raw energy competition between two bloated chakra bodies. The movement of the two people was earth-shattering, but what happened in the end? It wasn't until the chakra was nearly dead that Senju Hashirama won Uchiha Madara in a traditional Konoha style. This is not to say that Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama are not strong, but because of their fighting style, weaker opponents can easily overwhelm them, but once they encounter a strong player of the same realm, they often have to fight to the end. Win or lose. That's pretty shitty. And something like Shinigami's Aizensuke is different. Whether it's the first appearance or the finale, Aizensuke never forgets his original intentions. No matter what fancy moves you have, no matter what special abilities you have, he has always been able to break through with a single sword, and the battle is almost never sloppy. In particular, Aizensuke also has Ryutsu, the strongest of the 5 special forces. Kendo has brought this power to the ultimate. Of course, it is absolutely impossible for Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama, as the two superpowers to end the Sengoku era, not to know the importance of cohesion. It's just that it is not an easy thing to condense strength in one point. Take Kendo as an example. Kendo is divided into 3 realms: sword body, sword potential, and sword intent. The first realm of swordsmanship is to pay attention to the combination of physical strength, physical energy, and various swordsmanship skills. This is the most basic Kendo realm, and it is also the realm with the most uneven strength gap. A better sword body cultivator can condense power ranging from 3% to 5%. Almost 1%, 1%, or even 1 in 1,000. Frankly speaking, it is better not to practice. When the sword body is completed, it can condense 1/10 of its power. Don't underestimate this 1/10. If Senju Hashirama can condense the chakra that consumes 1/10 of True Several Thousand Hands into a single point to attack Uchiha Madara, it is estimated that Satsuki Agarwood will have to find a new reincarnation of Indra to fool. As for the sword power behind and the most profound sword intent, despite the memories of Shinigami Aizensuke, it's too early for the current Aizen, so I don't think about it for now. The practice of Kendo is a test of talent and understanding, and it also requires a lot of time to practice. It is difficult to achieve high achievements in a short period of time, especially in a few days. All the time, I still need to practice some methods that can greatly improve my combat effectiveness in a short period of time. Aizen obviously still remembered the trouble the original owner caused him on the first day of his time travel. After weighing the pros and cons, he finally reluctantly put the sword back into the scabbard. It is worth mentioning that the Hokage world, like Neon in reality, has almost no distinction between swords, and most of the time, the sword is called a sword. Kendo is not in a hurry. What Aizen wants to practice now is a perception secret technique called Lingwang in the Shinigami world. After both chakra and ninjutsu have been completed, and Kendo cannot be rushed, Aizen urgently needs a secret art of perception. In fact, Aizen didn't really want to practice the secret art of perception at first. After all, with his current level and being in Konoha, the secret art of perception is not that important for the time being. Aizen's initial target was Shunpo. However, Shunpo has high requirements for the practitioners, and also requires a lot of time to hone, so it is difficult to achieve results in a short period of time. Shinigami Aizensuke's memory can only make him reduce detours and shorten the study time, but cannot make him become master directly. More importantly, he will be playing Senju Nawaka soon. No way, in the world of Hokage, which is full of insidiousness and cunning, especially in Konoha, a place where old yin and yin are crowded together, if there is no excellent perception ability, Aizen is really a little empty. What? You said that Aizen is also from Konoha, and Konoha Shinobi are all their own companions, so don't worry? Sorry, Aizen is defending against these so-called own people. The spirit web is a perception technique used to perceive the soul and its fluctuations, originally used by Shinigami to perceive the existence of emptiness. There is no specific limit to the perception space of this secret technique. Generally, the greater the energy consumed, the greater the perception range. For the first time, Aizen closed his eyes, gathered chakra into his brain, and activated it in a special way. A weak and almost negligible soul force continues to spread around with Aizen as the center. Then, Aizen discovered that in the grass a few hundred meters away, a azure blue soul was sneakily hiding in it. Aizen! Look, what he just said, you must always be on guard against the old Yinbai of Konoha. Aizen calmly put his hand into the ninja bag at his waist, and then, at a speed that could not cover his ears, he violently threw 3 kunai with explosive charms at the grass. Boom! After Kyoka made a harsh sound of breaking through the air, a huge explosion sounded, instantly blasting the grass to pieces. However, in Aizen's perception, the dazzling soul did not disappear, but quickly withdrew at the moment when kunai was about to come, avoiding the fatal blow. Aizen's eyes narrowed, and he turned to look at this Konoha version of Voldemort. I saw that he was a little boy about the same age as Aizen, wearing a dark blue ninja training suit, with blonde hair and blue eyes, and his expression seemed to reveal the warmth of a little sun. Chapter 7 Misunderstanding, Misunderstanding, this classmate, I don't have any malicious intentions, but I just found out that your ninjutsu skills are extraordinary, I couldn't help but watch it, there is absolutely no intention to spy on your secret. The blonde-haired boy had a bright smile on his face, and he couldn't help but feel a little dazed at Aizen's cold eyes. He usually likes to practice ninjutsu around here in his spare time. Since Aizen's practice of water style was too loud before, he couldn't help attracting him. The moment he came over, he saw Aizen performing the B-level ninjutsu water-severing wave, and his mouth widened in surprise on the spot. You must know that there are very few students who can skillfully use C-level ninjutsu in the ninja school. Even a genius like him has only mastered a few C-level ninjutsu. I have never heard of anyone who can perform B-level ninjutsu technique. And he knew all about the geniuses of all grades in the school. According to Aizen's face, he carefully compared them, and none of them matched the image of Aizen below. Especially Aizen's age is obviously similar to him, which deepens his curiosity. He wanted to know who the other party was, and also wanted to know what kind of strength the other party had. After all, not to mention that Namikaze Minato at this moment has always been ranked first in the grade, even many famous talents in the senior grade are far from his opponents. Even Senju Nawaki, the grandson of the famous first Hokage, can only rank second, and is known as the second child of 10,000 years in the ninja school. Geniuses, especially geniuses who are at a high altitude, are often lonely. What I want most is to find my own kind. Although it is a taboo for ninjas to secretly observe others practicing ninjutsu, the curiosity in his heart overcomes everything, making him become a voyeur. You're Namikaze Minato from Class A. Looking at the somewhat familiar golden retriever in front of him, Aizen's voice was a little surprised. He really didn't expect that this Konoha version of Voldemort was actually the first genius of their class, Namikaze Minato. It is the golden glitter of the future Megatron ninja world, the future fourth Hokage, the father of the main character Uzumaki Naruto of Hokage. Forward. It seems that the fine tradition of the protagonist's parents offering sacrifices to heaven is common all over the world. Well, you know me. Namikaze Minato was also a little surprised. After all, Aizen had never been in his memory. It would be a bit strange if I didn't know Namikaze Minato, a well-known gifted student who has been ranked first in the grade all year round. Aizen said lightly. Hearing this, Namikaze Minato was also a little embarrassed. If someone usually praised him like this, he might still be happy. But now that voyeurism is caught on the spot, this is a public execution. Tell me, you are the first genius, why are you sneaking around near my cultivation place? Is it possible that I am a spy from a neighboring village? Aizen asked with a blank expression. You still don't call me a genius, just call me Minato. Hearing Aizen asking, the embarrassment in Namikaze Minato's eyes became even more embarrassing. Such a sentence. Then, he embarrassedly said the reason in Aizen's stern expression. That's the way it is. I really admire your talent and strength. I can't help but want to know more about it. It doesn't mean anything else. Finally, Namikaze Minato took a deep breath and looked at him sincerely. To Aizen. Aizen felt a little speechless. If you say that, you are so good that you feel lonely, that's why you turned into Voldemort and became a voyeur. Luckily I'm a man, if I were a woman. Wait, I remember that Uzumaki Naruto is actually a sullen guy, so it's not your inheritance. Aizen secretly complained a few words in his heart, and then slowly pulled his thoughts back. I can understand your mood. Aizen said this slowly first. However, before Namikaze Minato was happy, Aizen followed with the next sentence, but I can't forgive you. Namikaze Minato's original look of joy instantly stiffened on his face. Even if he knows Namikaze Minato and has no bad intentions, Aizen is not going to reveal it so easily. Although Aizen specially maintained the gentle and kind character of the original owner in order to develop wretchedly, this does not mean that any problem can be a good person. When it comes to some bottom-line issues, one has to be tough, otherwise, if everything is an image of a gentle old man, it will give people a feeling of hypocrisy. A perfect and sound character design can give people a sense of reality by combining rigidity and softness. In particular, being spied on while cultivating is by no means a trivial matter. In the ninja world, it is very common for people to be killed due to the leakage of their own information. Therefore, almost every ninja has his own hidden cards, which are aimed at preventing information leakage from being targeted by the enemy. Namikaze Minato also knows this truth, and understands that this matter is his own fault. In addition, he has been poisoned by the will of fire since he was a child, and he is still very honorable. This classmate, it's really my fault. I'm willing to use a few wind-type ninjutsu in my hands as compensation. What do you think? Namikaze Minato took a deep breath and looked with obvious hope in his eyes. To Aizen. Aizen. There is no wind attribute in his chakra attribute, so it is useless to use these ninjutsu. There is no wind in my chakra attribute. The coldness of Aizen's expression deepened. Ah. That's it. I'm so sorry. Namikaze Minato's face stiffened, and an awkward smile appeared. He is also a civilian ninja, and there are not many advanced ninjutsu at home. These wind ninjutsu are almost his most precious things. Suddenly, Namikaze Minato seemed to remember something, and his expression was a little hesitant, but in the end he glanced at Aizen again, gritted his teeth, and said, I also have an instant technique, which is a high-level mobile secret. Is it okay to use it to compensate? This is the most advanced ninjutsu in his family, and even he feels a little pain in the flesh. Oh! Aizen showed a hint of surprise. He didn't expect Namikaze Minato to have such a secret technique, which really surprised him. However, he still has Shinigami's Shunpo in his mind, which is not a star and a half better than the Shunpo technique of the Hokage world, which still needs a knot, so he still doesn't need it. I don't need the instant body technique either. Aizen shook his head. I don't have anything else worth compensating for. Namikaze Minato said bitterly. He originally thought that the instant technique would be able to settle things as soon as he made a move, but he never thought. However, as long as you can have a fight with me, I can let it go. Just when Namikaze Minato was a little desperate, Aizen suddenly said this. Chapter 8. What? You want to have a fight with me? Namikaze Minato opened his mouth wide and looked at Aizen in surprise. Even his instant body technique can't be settled, I can't think that it needs to be solved in this way. Originally in his heart, today this matter might have to be resolved at the ninja school, but he didn't expect Aizen's request to be so simple and peculiar. That's right. Aizen nodded solemnly, affirming. Can you tell me the reason? Namikaze Minato asked curiously. Of course, it also shows that he is willing to fight Aizen in this duel. Do not agree to do not ah. Today, this matter is entirely his responsibility. If it really gets into the school, even as the first genius of Namikaze Minato, it is estimated that he will have to scratch his skin. As you have always been known as the strongest among your peers, aren't you the person everyone wants to challenge? Aizen asked rhetorically with a chuckle. Really? Namikaze Minato smiled noncommittally. However, he knew in his heart that this answer was not the real reason. Although this was his first meeting with Aizen, he had an intuition that the person in front of him would definitely not be the kind of person who was obsessed with fame. The truth is exactly as Namikaze Minato expected. Aizen did not challenge Namikaze Minato on a whim. But in the next grade combat class, he will definitely face Senju Nawaki. At this time, if he can fight Namikaze Minato, who is still famous above Senju Nawaki, then Aizen will have a bottom for the upcoming battle in the future. Of course, this is also what Aizen wants to train his actual combat ability. Although he has hundreds of years of memories of Shinigami Aizen, including rich combat experience, he still needs a certain amount of actual combat to digest these memories. However, no matter what Aizen's reason was, Namikaze Minato didn't care about it as long as today's matter could be resolved peacefully. In accordance with the etiquette of the ninja school, after the two sides formed a seal of reconciliation, the battle officially kicked off. First up is Namikaze Minato. Although he has always been known as the Little Sun, Namikaze Minato is definitely a fierce and decisive presence in battle. I saw Namikaze Minato's original gentle eyes suddenly changed, and instantly took out several shuriken and threw them at Aizen. At the same time, Namikaze Minato quickly took out two kunai with both hands, and galloped towards Aizen at a speed that was completely unsuitable for his age. Namikaze Minato's shuriken throwing is very high, and almost all of them are aimed at the vital points of Aizen. But Aizen didn't panic at all. With his strong physical fitness, he evaded these shuriken with a clever turnover. However, these shuriken from Namikaze Minato are not so simple. I saw that these shuriken that hadn't hit Aizen magically collided behind Aizen, and then shot back towards Aizen at an incredible angle. Uchiha clan's shuriken throwing technique. Aizen was slightly surprised when he saw this impressive throwing technique in the original book. Namikaze Minato would know the shuriken throwing technique unique to the Uchiha clan, which he never imagined. In fact, Namikaze Minato, as the first genius, coupled with his unique personality, has a very close relationship with his classmate Uchiha Fugaku. This shuriken throwing technique unique to the Uchiha clan was also taught to Namikaze Minato by Uchiha Fugaku. In fact, this throwing technique is not a secret technique that needs to be kept secret in the Uchiha clan. Because the difficulty of this throwing technique is not skill, but strong insight. It is difficult for a ninja without a Sharingan to perform this technique. Namikaze Minato is also a master because of his naturally strong neural reflexes. However, at this time, Aizen was too late to think about how Namikaze Minato came up with this technique. Because at this moment, Namikaze Minato's figure has come to Aizen, raised the kunai in his hand and stabbed at Aizen. Strike back and forth. Aizen was in a corner almost immediately. What a Namikaze Minato, worthy of the title of the first person of his age. Watching Namikaze Minato strike such a complex and sharp blow, even Aizen couldn't help but exclaim. However, trying to beat Aizen like this is too much to underestimate him. Water-style water barrier. Aizen's hands quickly formed a seal, and the surrounding water vapor condensed and swirled around him in an instant, forming an airtight water wall. Whether it was the shuriken flying from behind or Namikaze Minato in front of him, they were all repelled by this turbulent wall of water. It's not a gentleman to come and go, Aizen doesn't just want to fight off Namikaze Minato. Water-style water rush. Aizen's hands clenched tightly in front of his chest, and the rotation speed and water volume of the surrounding water walls suddenly increased, directly piercing the height of the water walls to 3 meters, and then the huge water waves slammed towards the surrounding area. Although Namikaze Minato's consciousness could react to such a large area attack, he couldn't dodge it at all at the speed of his current body. It's amazing. In the face of my 3-stage combo, not only did I break it in an instant, but I could also make such a beautiful counterattack right away. Even though he was caught in the water, Namikaze Minato couldn't bear a business blow. As soon as the expert makes a move, you will know if there is any. Namikaze Minato knew from Aizen's 2 ninjutsu tricks that the brown-haired man with glasses in front of him was very strong. Despite being at a disadvantage, Namikaze Minato is not panicking. After wrapping chakra around his body, Namikaze Minato jumped with his feet, broke free from the shackles of the water, and burst out of the water. However, Aizen, who has always been aware of the situation in the water, has been waiting for this moment. I saw Aizen draw out his long knife, and mercilessly slashed at Namikaze Minato's back the moment Namikaze Minato just left the water. This blow is not unremarkable. In the face of Aizen's sneak attack that doesn't talk about martial arts, Namikaze Minato's pervert's neural reflexability finally showed. This terrifying talent for reacting quickly even while moving through space allows Namikaze Minato's body to respond decisively. Turn the kunai backhand in the right hand, and split the long sword directly before the body has completely turned around. At the same time, in the process, Namikaze Minato's left hand was cut to Aizen's throat. Offensive and defensive instant reversal. But Aizen's neural reflexability is no less than Namikaze Minato under the blessing of the soul of the traveler. Facing this dangerous blow, his body immediately retreated to avoid it. Not only that, but the long sword that was originally split by Namikaze Minato was also held by Aizen with his backhand, and he slashed at Namikaze Minato's left wrist at a strange angle. For a while, the offense and defense reversed again. After that, the 2 strongest teenagers in Konoha's generation contributed to a wonderful physical battle. Although the power may only be a pediatrician in the eyes of Janin, its fierceness and danger will make even a cage-level expert feel shocked when he sees it. After a while, both Aizen and Namikaze Minato realized that there was no way to decide the winner in terms of taijutsu, and both sides quickly retreated after a confrontation, standing on the water and facing each other from a distance. Chapter 9. You're very strong, really strong. Namikaze Minato praised his peers, who didn't even know his name, in front of him. Among his peers, apart from Senju Nawaki and Uchiha Fugaku, this is the 3rd person who can fight him so far. The most important thing is that it is also the first time that someone can truly give him a full range of oppression. Whether the opponent is the power and skill of taijutsu, or the master of ninjutsu, and the timing of release, they all give him a feeling of perfection. It's like a hexagonal warrior full of points in every way. Although Namikaze Minato has always been nicknamed Little Sun, he has always been known for being gentle and friendly at ninja school. But the arrogance in his heart is by no means less than that of any genius. Therefore, Namikaze Minato has not officially endorsed Aizen until now. Can you tell me your name? Someone with your strength can't be anonymous. Namikaze Minato asked curiously. Up until now, he doesn't even know the name of the person who is fighting, which is indeed a bit outrageous. Ordinary Class C, Aizen. Aizen said faintly Kide. The elite class of each grade in the ninja school is Class A, and the others are ordinary classes. Of course, although it is called the elite class, not all elites can be in the elite class. Not to mention the current Aizen, who was the original owner before Aizen crossed over, and his strength can easily enter the elite class. However, there is a thing in the world called relational background. The elite class has the best teachers and learning resources, and also has the best instructor resources after graduation, which will make many children of ninja nobles flock to them. Therefore, there are all kinds of human feelings and sophistication in them. In fact, Konoha executives are not clear about this situation. The honorary headmaster of the ninja school is Sarutobi Hiruzen. He knows better than anyone else. But there is no way. Almost all of Konoha's elites are from ninja nobles. Especially at this time, the Hokage lineage has not completely mastered the power of Master Konoha. At this time, they offended them. It is estimated that the Hokage of Sarutobi Hiruzen is the capital. Unable to sit still, Namikaze Minato can enter Class A, mainly because the aura of the first genius is too dazzling. If you don't pull him in, the elite class will not live up to its name. Class C. Aizen. Namikaze Minato carefully recalled the name in his mind, lowered his head and muttered, "I will remember this name." After a while, Namikaze Minato solemnly raised his head and said very seriously, "Really? That's really my honor." Aizen's mouth twitched into a smile. But suddenly, Aizen turned his head, and a meaningful smile appeared in his eyes, and said, "Now that the water flow of the water rush has almost drained away, are you not ready to start?" It turned out that during the time the two were talking, a large amount of water waves released by Aizen had been gradually lost unknowingly, and now Namikaze Minato and Aizen were standing on the ground again. Hearing this, Namikaze Minato's face froze, and then he showed an embarrassed but polite smile. After the previous fight, he knew that Aizen was very good at water-style ninjutsu, especially the environment of water rushing just now, which was very unfavorable for his speed-skilled ninja. On the one hand, he really wanted to know the name of Aizen in his speech just now, and on the other hand, he also wanted to delay the time to make the area attack of the water wave ineffective. "No way, Aizen, your strength is not simple. In the water-style environment like just now, it is almost impossible for me to defeat you." Namikaze Minato shook his head with a wry smile. Just now, in order to gain the control of the dehydration shock, he almost lost more than 1/3 of his chakra, and then he had a thrilling physical battle with Aizen. Chakra consumed another 20%, and now the chakra in his body is less than half. In fact, Aizen didn't have much chakra left at this time. Whether it is water barrier or water rush, it is a large-scale ninjutsu, and it consumes a lot of chakra. That is to say, his physique is amazing, chakra recovers very fast, and consumes very little physical skills, so he can fight Namikaze Minato with the amount of chakra that Genin is not. In his perception, Namikaze Minato's chakra was already a veritable Genin. "Let's decide the winner as soon as possible, and then drag it on. It's just a boring war of attrition for you and me." Aizen's eyes narrowed, and he said in a deep voice. "Yet." Namikaze Minato agreed, nodding solemnly. "Fire style fire bullet." This time, Aizen chose to take the lead. I saw a tiger print on his hands, a bulge in his mouth, and a scorching fireball with a diameter of 1/2 a meter. Although this ninjutsu is very ordinary in terms of visual sense, it is better than the speed of the fireball spray, and it will produce a large-scale explosion after touching it, and the power is very good. The heat wave hit, and the firelight immediately illuminated Namikaze Minato's little face red. Knowing that I'm a speed ninja, so I deliberately chose to use a wide range of attacks to force me to reveal flaws in dodging. Namikaze Minato said with a calm expression. This is similar to Aizen's use of water waves before. But, Aizen, it's impossible for a ninja to achieve the same effect in the same way. Namikaze Minato raised his eyes, and a confident smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. Wind-style great breakthrough. I saw Namikaze Minato's hands were dazzling, and his mouth opened, and a strong hurricane suddenly spewed out. In the Hokage world theory, the fire attribute is the restraint of the wind attribute. But there are exceptions to everything. Wind-style great breakthrough is the top sea-level ninjutsu. Even in the hands of some cage-level powerhouses, it will occasionally appear. far beyond what an ordinary fire-style flame bullet can match. The turbulent hurricane was mixed with the hissing sound of tearing the air, and the fire bullet was shattered almost instantly. Not only that, but the gust of wind also swept away in the direction of Aizen with shattered flame bullets. The wind helps the fire borrows the wind. The power of this blow almost reached the level of B-level ninjutsu. Moreover, the attack range of this move is very large, and it is impossible to dodge with the speed of Aizen in the physical competition just now. Aizen, after the battle just now, it is impossible for you to perform a wide-ranging water-style ninjutsu like the water barrier just now, so what are you going to do with this blow? Namikaze Minato stared at Aizen in front of him. Not only did Aizen figure out the details of Namikaze Minato, but Namikaze Minato almost figured out the details of Aizen. In this regard, the two sides can almost be said to have no reservations. Bang bang bang! The strong wind pressure and the hot fire bombs completely covered the space of dozens of meters around where Aizen was, and there were bursts of violent explosions. After a long time, when the smoke and dust dissipated, only a messy land was revealed, and half a person was not seen. No one? It's impossible, he couldn't dodge the attack just now. Namikaze Minato lost his voice when he saw the empty scene in front of him. Unless... Suddenly, Namikaze Minato seemed to have thought of something, and his pupils shrank suddenly. Chapter 10. Water-style water-severing wave. Under the dark underground, Aizen's hands were constantly changing with complicated handprints. With a small mouth, a high-pressure water gun like a laser shot at Namikaze Minato diagonally above. This slender water gun effortlessly cut through the hard mud and stone layers and pierced the entire surface almost instantly. Not good. Namikaze Minato's heart rang loudly, and he subconsciously wanted to dodge. But this attack was too sudden, and the speed was too fast. In addition, attacking from such a tricky angle under the ground, Namikaze Minato hardly has any reaction time. Puff! A sound of flesh tearing sounded, and red blood was splashed in the air. Namikaze Minato staggered to his knees on the ground, covering the outside of his right arm with his left hand. At this time, blood was constantly seeping from the crevices of his fingers. It's really amazing neural reflex ability. Under such a timing angle, you can still subconsciously complete the deflection of your body, and you narrowly escaped this blow. Aizen's body slowly emerged from the ground, looking at Namikaze Minato in front of him and sighing. Just now, he used the submerged diving technique to hide in the ground, and he originally aimed at Namikaze Minato's right shoulder. If that hit hits, Namikaze Minato will definitely be incapacitated. Unfortunately, Namikaze Minato managed to dodge it with his incredible neural reflexes in the end. Don't look at the current Namikaze Minato, who seems to be seriously injured. In fact, this blow was just a scratch on the outside of his right arm by the water-severing wave, leaving a little skin injury. It should be said that it is the golden flash of the future of the ninja world, and the evasion skills are completely full. Aizen muttered in his heart. No, you still won. If you aimed at my heart or other deadly position just now, even if I could dodge, I would definitely lose my combat effectiveness. However, Namikaze Minato heard Aizen's praise after hearing the praise. Just shook his head with a wry smile. He knew that if it wasn't a battle just now, but a life and death battle, now he would be a fish to be slaughtered. Isn't it the same for you? If it weren't for the reason of the competition, your strength could not have been displayed to such an extent. Aizen smiled lightly at Namikaze Minato. Due to the duel, Namikaze Minato can't play his speed advantage very well, and can only play against Aizen in a fixed space within a certain range. This actually limits Namikaze Minato's strength to a certain extent. If nothing else, Namikaze Minato definitely still has a trump card of the instant body technique that has not been used. He just wanted to use the instant body technique as compensation for peeping. With Namikaze Minato's talent, if he didn't have a master instant body technique, Aizen would not believe it at first. Although, the technique of instant body technique is in the Konoha Anbu, which is like a cloud of masters, only very few people can master. If Namikaze Minato relies on the instant technique to fight in an infinite space, Namikaze Minato can retreat quickly when Aizen makes a large area attack, and then use the constant guerrilla harassment to consume Aizen, instead of directly choosing as now. Hard and just. This is also the reason why Aizen did not take any action when he knew that Namikaze Minato was deliberately delaying the water rush. Because, in such an environment, it was a huge disadvantage to Namikaze Minato. Of course, Aizen is not a gentleman, and he has a hobby of being upright, fair, and just. The reason why Aizen fought Namikaze Minato was to enhance his actual combat experience as much as possible, and to touch the strongest combat power among his peers, not just to defeat Namikaze Minato. Therefore, he also needs Namikaze Minato to maximize his strength. Namikaze Minato didn't know about this. At this time, after hearing Aizen's words, he only regarded Aizen as a gentleman who pursued fairness and justice, and he couldn't help but have a strong affection in his heart. If before, his recognition of Aizen only stayed at the level of strength, now, Namikaze Minato also recognized Aizen's character. Anyway, if you lose, you lose. I'm not someone who can't afford to lose, Aizen. Namikaze Minato pulled out a piece of gauze from his ninja bag and simply wrapped his arm, then stood up and smiled. No, today's battle is still considered a draw. If we really want to decide the winner, why don't we fight another day, how about that? Aizen showed his trademark gentle smile. Aizen, is such a good-natured gentleman, personable, like an ancient gentleman. Haha, good. After hearing Aizen's words, Namikaze Minato's favorability for Aizen rose several steps and laughed. In the next time, Aizen and Namikaze Minato are like friends who can talk about everything. After talking about ninjutsu, they talk about life, after talking about life, they talk about ideals, and after talking about ideals, they talk about life. Aizen has always been an absolute genius in past and present life, and with his rich experience, Namikaze Minato often finds things refreshing and admirable. And although Namikaze Minato is only 8 years old, the children in the Hokage world are generally precocious. Like Uchiha Itachi in the original book, he is already thinking about the issue of peace in the ninja world at this age. Therefore, Aizen and Namikaze Minato don't have any age gaps or obstacles when they chat, and Namikaze Minato is also a talented person. The guest was invited by Namikaze Minato, and the place for the treat was also chosen by Namikaze Minato. Hokage's world-famous punch-in holy place, Ichiraku Ramen. This made Aizen secretly feel that Namikaze Minato and Uzumaki Naruto are indeed father and son, and they belong to the same line. As for the legendary Ichiraku Ramen, Aizen had only heard of it before, and because of his hard training recently, he was not in the mood to taste the food. At this time, the hand beater is still very young, but the craftsmanship has already had the style of the future. Aizen sat in front of the long table in the ramen shop, looking at the delicious ramen in front of him, his throat rolled involuntarily. I often come to this store, and the taste is amazing. Not only is it cheap, but the owner is also very friendly. On the side, Namikaze Minato did not forget to introduce Aizen while he was cooking. Okay. Aizen hugged him and smiled. The Ichiraku ramen tasted really good, and Aizen and Namikaze Minato had a great time. After the noodles, Namikaze Minato warmly invited Aizen to play at his house. In the days that followed, Aizen returned to the time when he practiced hard. However, at this time, he was no longer alone like he was before, and occasionally there was a handsome blue-eyed golden retriever next to him. For Namikaze Minato's unsolicited visit, Aizen actually felt a little disgusted in his heart, but in order to maintain the character set he worked hard to create before, and Namikaze Minato only came occasionally, Aizen finally had to pinch his nose to recognize. In this way, before I knew it, the time came to the day of the actual combat class of the grade. Chapter 11. In these last few days, Aizen not only focused on Kendo, but also a little on the foundation of Shunpo. This is mainly because Aizen is 100% sure about the fight against Senju Nawaki after the fight with Namikaze Minato. At this time, he has not only set his sights on a mere Senju Nawaki, but on the entire ninja world, and even the Fourth Ninja War in the future. It was an era when the Hokage world was full of demons and gangsters. Even the peak powerhouse of the ninja world at this time, the cage-level powerhouse. In that period, it was nothing more than a mere ants. Of course, these are still a little too far for the current Aizen. So, after Aizen swelled slightly at that time, he quickly recognized the reality and started to run chakra, which even Genin couldn't find in his body. However, fortunately, Aizen is only a thin line away from Genin. 2 days ago, he finally increased the amount of chakra to Genin. The strength can be said to have risen to a new level. If he were to play Namikaze Minato again, Aizen could be 100% sure that he would be the winner. Of course, in the entire Hokage world, Aizen has just changed from a rookie to a rookie, and he is still 1,000 miles away from the real powerhouse. However, even though he has been cultivating frantically this month, Aizen still maintains the good habit of going to school every day. No way, who told him that he didn't have so many shadow clone plugins that his predecessors had in the beginning? If he didn't go to school on time, Senju Nawaki wouldn't bother him, and the school would have expelled him first. Thinking of this, Aizen is full of anger. Look at other systematic traversal predecessors, either the 3-year-old Chakra is comparable to Nine Tails, or he was born with a Rinnegan. No matter how bad it is, just do a random task lottery draw, pink eye disease and cataract will definitely not be less. Look at him again, what else does he have but the memories of Aizensuke's life in Shinigami and Zanpakuto Kaika Suigetsu? What else could he have? Everything is up to him. Up to now, the system in Aizen still has no response. It is no different from having no system. Today is the official start of the grade-level combat class, but the specific start time is in the afternoon. In the morning, Aizen came to a special place in the school again. This place is the school's medical room. It's not that Aizen was injured and needed treatment, but that he came here to learn medical ninjutsu. That's right, the medical room is not only responsible for treating students injured by accident, but also teaching some simple medical ninjutsu and common sense to some students with medical talent and the intention to become medical ninjas. The current Konoha is not the Konoha when it debuted decades later. At that time, both the size of the medical institutions and the number of medical ninjas in Konoha were completely formalized, and a complete set of medical ninja training systems had already been established. Today's Konoha has just experienced the first ninja war, and is in a state of waiting. Even the system for medical ninjas to enter the battle squad has not yet been formed. Even when Tsunade, one of the Sannin, took the lead in proposing this system because of Senju Nawaki's death, it was not adopted by the senior management of Konoha. It was not until the Third Ninja War that the system of medical ninja joining the combat force began to be gradually implemented. As for now, the Second Ninja World War has not yet begun. And this is also a point of Aizen's fancy. Because, today's medical ninjas don't have to go directly to the battlefield. With Aizen's powerful chakra manipulation talent, it is not difficult to learn medical ninjutsu. As long as he can enter the medical department after graduating from the ninja school, he can directly survive the Second Ninja War without going to the battlefield. Even if he went to the battlefield, he would only stay in the medical class in the rear of the army. That's right, one of the important reasons why Aizen learned medical ninjutsu is to avoid the Second Ninja World War, and he wants to hide behind to save his life. I have to say, this is not only very wretched, but also loses the face of all transmigrators to a certain extent. Looking at all the Hokage fan novels, the one who transmigrated didn't hear the word war, so he screamed in excitement, just as excited as he was knocked out of his brain. He also insisted that only under the pressure of the war of life and death can we rapidly increase our strength. But in Aizen's eyes, if it wasn't for the immortal halo of the protagonist shrouded in this group of second hands, the gravehead grass would already be 3 feet tall. Aizen also admitted that ninjas tempered by blood and fire are indeed stronger than flowers growing in a greenhouse. However, this has nothing to do with the breakthrough of strength. The breakthrough of strength depends on the accumulation of time little by little, and then the qualitative change caused by the quantitative change. Of course, if you're of Scion blood, act like Aizen doesn't say anything. However, no matter what, Aizen's behavior of taking his entire life in troubled times is undoubtedly very shameful. But Aizen's heart is also bitter about this. How many of the protagonists in so many Hokage fanfiction novels are of the same generation as Namikaze Minato? Almost all fanfiction master Kakuzu was born after the Second Ninja World War and before the Third Ninja World War. The worst is also born after the Third Ninja World War, before the plot begins. Why? Because most of the other authors feel sorry for the protagonist. They all want the protagonist to accumulate a certain amount of self-protection strength before the war starts, or before the plot begins, before letting the protagonist pretend to be on the battlefield. As for novels that directly put the protagonist on the battlefield, no need to ask, it must be because the hanging is strong enough. And now? A year later is the Second Ninja World War. Aizen struggled to even be promoted to Chunin in 1 year without any cheating. Letting a genin scum like him go directly to the battlefield, the probability of death is infinitely close to 100%. Of course, Aizen's learning of medical ninjutsu is not only for the purpose of vulgar development, but also for the future. With Aizen's current talent, if he doesn't die in the future, he has enough confidence to achieve Kage level, or even surpass Kage level. But after this? After the Super Kage level is the 6 Paths level. Throughout the world of Hokage, the powerhouses who reach this level are veritable descendants of the 6 Paths. It is completely the upper limit of achievement with blood. The only person who can bloom with 6 Paths level brilliance as a mortal, only the blue beast of Konoha, Might Guy. This real man who almost kicked 6 Paths Madara to death with 8 inner gates formation can be said to be a truly ordinary inspirational figure. However, Might Guy is only a momentary youth in the end, just like a flash in the pan. After all, it is not a real 6 Paths level powerhouse. So, is it really impossible to achieve the 6 Paths level except for the descendants of the 6 Paths? For this, Aizen has a negative attitude. As an outstanding biologist in his previous life, Aizen never believed that there were any shackles of life that could not be broken. Even if there is, it is just that the essence and laws have not yet been discovered. Because, what Aizen believes in is called science. Chapter 12. Aizen firmly believes that as long as you use the power of science to explore the essence of the Hokage world, you can find the way to the 6 Paths level. That's right. In the otherworldly world of Hokage ninjas, Aizen wants to talk about science. This is really gauze wiping your butt. A hand was leaked, exposed. However, Aizen's thinking at this time is not without reason. Among them, he also has a set of strict logical reasoning. The beginning of the Hokage world was when 2 aliens named Satsuki came to the land of ninjas to plunder the natural energy and plant the sacred tree to harvest chakra fruit. After that, Satsuki Kagaya plotted against Satsuki and ate the chakra fruit. After giving birth to the Satsuki Hago Romo brothers, the amount of chakra decreased. In order to defend against a possible attack by the Satsuki clan, Satsuki Kagaya launched infinite Tsukuyomi against the ninja world, sucking the energy of the whole ninja world, causing a break in battle with the Satsuki Hago Romo brothers. After Satsuki Hago Romo and Satsuki Hamura defeated Satsuki Kagaya and sealed it on the moon, they also split the chakra of the sacred tree into 9 parts and scattered them all over the ninja world. And a few years later, Satsuki Kagaya's third son, Black Zetsu, also known as Satsuki Agarwood. In order to rescue the trapped Satsuki Kagaya, he kept provoking the descendants of Satsuki Hago Romo. He also successfully planned the chakra who gathered the 9 big-tailed beasts in the Fourth Ninja World War. Then he plotted against Six Paths Madara through a shameless sneak attack, and finally rescued him. Tsutsuki Kagaya. Although in the end Tsutsuki Kagaya was sealed again. I have to say that shameless sneak attacks and plots run through the Hokage world from beginning to end. This is the basic thread of the Hokage world. Essentially, it's a story that starts with looting energy and ends with collecting it. The second main context in the Hokage world is the completion and competition of genetic bloodlines. The most representative of them is the evolution of Sharingan and Byakugan. After Sharingan evolved to Mangekyou Sharingan, there is a risk that the more you use it, the more you will become blind. There are two workarounds. One is to transplant the brother's Mangekyou Sharingan to get the eternal Mangekyou Sharingan. Another is the transplantation of Senju Hashirama cells, which greatly reduces the blindness caused by the use of Mangekyou Sharingan. In the original book, Uchiha Madara and Uchiha Sasuke used the first method, while Uchiha Obito used the second method. According to Aizen's speculation, the risk of Mangekyou Sharingan is somewhat similar to a genetic disease caused by a genetic defect. As long as the corresponding genes are complemented, this defect can be solved, and even the level of life can be further evolved to the original form. As for the subsequent evolution of Rinnegan, let alone the transplant of Senju Hashirama's cells while possessing the eternal Mangekyou Sharingan. And the evolution of Byakugan is even more simple and rude. The Tsutsuki branch house on the moon directly slaughtered all the clan members, plundered their white eyes and genes, and not only created the giant Tensagen, but also created the Tsutsuki Sharin, 8th Tsutsuki clan with almost all the blood of Tsutsuki Hamura. Then, after the Tsutsuki Sharin transplanted Hyuga Hanabi's white-eyed princess-level white eyes, it directly evolved a Tensagen that was comparable to Rinnegan. The history of the entire Hokage world can be said to be a history of competition for energy and blood. In fact, not only the world of Hokage, but also the world of Shinigami. In the Shinigami world, the creation that can break the shackles of life and evolve to a higher level, Hokage, is the most typical example. Although this thing is said to tap the potential of the holder, but from the perspective of its production process, this is not the case at all. The making of Hokage is divided into two parts. In part, Aizen was made from hundreds of Shinigami in the Soul Society, or souls with Shinigami talents. The other part is Hokage made by Urahara Kisuke with a large amount of virtual material. Just combine these two parts of Hokage, and you can get the perfect Hokage that pushes the boundaries between Shinigami and imaginary. It is worth noting that these raw materials for Shinigami and Su are not selected casually. Take Matsumoto Rangiku as an example, her spiritual power contains fragments of the Spirit King. The so-called transcendence of the boundary between Shinigami and emptiness is the fusion of the power of Shinigami and emptiness, which is essentially a fusion of energies and evolution of genes. The evolution brought about by Hokage is directly manifested in the hollow of Shinigami, the virtual Shinigamization, which has a fart relationship with tapping one's own potential. And why is Kurosaki Ichigo in Shinigami so awesome? It's not because he has the power of Shinigami, Void, and Quincy within him. He has more power than Aizen, who broke Shinigami and Phantom power, so there is a logical basis for him to be able to defeat Aizen in the end. There is no way, the life of opening and hanging is so unpretentious and boring. To sum up, the key to achieving the 6 paths level is to need a plug-in that can continuously integrate high-level energy and blood, similar to Hokage in Shinigami. Simply put, you still need a plug-in. And without hanging, is there a heaven-defying way to change one's life? Of course there is, that is to make a hang yourself. And the tool to create this plug-in is science. This is the answer given by Aizen. Through the study of medical ninjutsu, understand the chakra biological system in the Hokage world, and then through the huge biological knowledge reserve of Aizen in Shinigami, as well as the earth memory of his previous life. Aizen believes that it's only a matter of time before they create their own plug-ins. Thinking about it, Aizen calmed down and learned the biological knowledge of the ninja world in the slightly empty medical room. Because practicing medical ninjutsu requires a certain talent, and learning is relatively boring, it is far less attractive than those powerful fighting ninjutsu, so there are very few students who come to practice medical ninjutsu. Of course, it is these reasons that lead to the scarcity of medical ninjas, making them very precious. This is also the reason why the senior executives of Konoha in the original book did not agree with Tsunade. In the absence of any experiments and evidence, it is a plan that any qualified leader will not agree to send the low-strength and extremely precious medical ninjas to the front line to fight. The study time is very fast, and before you know it, it comes to the afternoon. Aizen slowly closed the medical ninjutsu common sense book in his hand, and let out a soft breath. Putting the book back in its place, Aizen moved towards the training ground of the ninja school. At this time, the training ground of the ninja school was already full of people, and countless boys and girls were gearing up for their efforts. And when Aizen walked into the playground, he was immediately discovered by a blue-eyed golden retriever. Aizen, here, come here. In a corner of the playground, Namikaze Minato instantly spotted Aizen, who had just arrived, waved his hand and shouted. Beside him, there was a boy in a dark blue ninja uniform with a fan pattern behind him. This young man looks handsome, very much like the Uchiha Two Pillars who just appeared in the original book. Chapter 13. When Aizen walked in front of Namikaze Minato, the latter impatiently introduced him to the people next to him. Aizen, this is a friend of my class A, from the Uchiha clan in the Mega Ninja world, and is also the current Uchiha. One of the strongest of the younger generation in the clan, Uchiha Fugaku. You must have heard of it too, right? It really is him. Aizen glanced at Uchiha Fugaku without a trace, and said clearly in his heart. In the original book, he fell in love with and killed the protagonist Uzumaki Naruto, the father of Uchiha's Two Pillars. No wonder he felt familiar just now. Hello, I'm Aizen, I just met Minato not long ago. Aizen had a kind smile on his face and a gentle gesture. This can almost be said to be engraved into the bone marrow of acting skills and habits. Hello, I was listening to Minato talking about you just now. Minato has a very high opinion of you. Uchiha Fugaku also smiled politely, without the arrogance of a big family. At the same time, he looked at Aizen curiously. As a friend of Namikaze Minato, he knows what kind of arrogance the peaceful Namikaze Minato has in his bones, and it is definitely not easy to be seen by his peers. Moreover, after he talked about this Aizen and Namikaze Minato, he also simply got to know each other. He was the first in Class C and ranked 9th in the last grade assessment. Although it is extremely outstanding in the eyes of ordinary students, in the eyes of their top geniuses, they can only be regarded as mediocre. This is not an exaggeration. Although the 9th and the top 3 seem to be separated by only a few people, the gap between the two is like a world of difference, and the former will never be able to match in his entire life. Not to mention the likes of Namikaze Minato and Senju Nawaki, who belong to the kind of genius that can only be born in an era. It is far from the ordinary gap between the 9th and the top 3 in the grade. Take the simplest comparison. Before crossing, Aizen was just a rookie who had just started to refine chakra. He was very far away from genin. If he was lucky, he would become an ordinary genin in the 5th or 6th grade in a few years. And what about Namikaze Minato now? Not only has the amount of chakra reached that of genin, but its real combat power is comparable to that of genin. Such a gap, it is polite to say that it is mediocre. However, it is such a seemingly ordinary little genius, but he can be recognized by Namikaze Minato, which adds a mysterious color to Aizen. Aizen was also a little surprised when he saw the polite Uchiha Fugaku. After all, the ninja aristocratic children in the school, and the commoner children they meet on their walks on weekdays, all use their nostrils to look at people. The sons of nobles who are polite and disciplined like Uchiha Fugaku are quite rare. However, Aizen is relieved when he thinks about it carefully in combination with the original work. The future Uchiha Fugaku will become the patriarch of the Uchiha clan. If he doesn't have enough affinity and social skills, and is an idiot like his second son, it is estimated that he will not be the patriarch of the Uchiha clan. What's more, there is also the influence of Namikaze Minato. That's great, Aizen. This time, we can compete again and finish the last unbeaten battle. Namikaze Minato clenched his fist and said excitedly to Aizen. Uchiha Fugaku, who was beside him, heard the words and looked at Aizen with even more surprise. When Namikaze Minato told him about Aizen before, he didn't say that there was still a tiebreaker between him and Aizen. This made him a little shocked. Although Uchiha Fugaku was able to treat ordinary children with courtesy under the strict family upbringing of his parents since he was a child, he is also a rebellious genius in essence. In the original book, he has the talent to open the Mangeki Sharingan. The key to Namikaze Minato being his friend is his unparalleled ninja talent. In all his previous battles with Namikaze Minato, he has never won a single one. How can he not be shocked and surprised by the sudden appearance of a peer who can compete with Namikaze Minato? Especially Aizen, who is almost unknown among his peers. However, although he was surprised by Aizen's strength, Uchiha Fugaku didn't wait for Aizen to speak, and immediately said, "This is not good, Minato, you promised to fight me 2 months ago, and it is rare to fight with you today. Opportunity, you can't hide." After that, Uchiha Fugaku looked at Namikaze Minato with a burning gaze, his face full of fighting intent. The opponent he wanted to challenge the most was Namikaze Minato. Ah! This! Namikaze Minato was also a little embarrassed when he saw his friend's appearance. After a duel with Uchiha Fugaku 2 months ago, he did promise the latter to continue the challenge. Because, that duel Uchiha Fugaku lost again. But now that he has invited Aizen first, if Aizen also wants to compete with him, it will be a little troublesome. Can't fight with them at all. No need, Minato, I'll leave you and Fugaku the chance to compete with you today. I don't have a chance today. Aizen smiled lightly. This. Namikaze Minato looked a little embarrassed. Aizen, it won't be too difficult for you. If you also want to challenge Minato, I can give you this opportunity today. If it's too bad, I will continue to pester Minato tomorrow. At this time, Uchiha Fugaku also noticed that the words were inappropriate, and hurriedly said to Aizen. No need, Fugaku, thank you for your kindness, but I guess it's very difficult for me to have a chance to fight Minato today. Aizen's eyes turned slightly, and he said meaningfully. Just when Namikaze Minato and Uchiha Fugaku were a little confused, a sharp voice suddenly sounded. Okay, Aizen, so you are hiding here. Do you think I can't recognize you if you change your hairstyle and wear a pair of glasses? UBD, even if you turn to ashes, I recognize you. A teenager wearing a green ninja training suit, with an ordinary appearance and a bit of Madara on his face, sprang out from there, pointing at Aizen's nose and shouting arrogantly. In the face of this dragon roll that doesn't seem to be a good thing, Namikaze Minato and Uchiha Fugaku frowned in unison, and squinted at the person who came. Yo, isn't this Sarutobi's Hiruzen? It's been a long time since I've seen him. The injury on his body is so fast. Aizen said to Sarutobi's Hiruzen with a half smile. He is not a good person, even if he needs to maintain a carefully created character, he is not at all cowardly when it is time to fight. You. Seeing Aizen like this, the terrifying memory of being beaten up a month ago lingered in Sarutobi's Hiruzen's heart again, his arrogant expression suddenly stagnated, and even his words withered. Hey, Zhutun, is the person you said bullying you earlier, is this guy? Chapter 14. As soon as the voice fell, a young man wearing a dark green ninja training suit, brown hair and brown eyes, and a look very similar to Uzumaki Naruto slowly walked out. After hearing this sentence, Sarutobi's Zhutun seemed to hear the sound of heaven. The sluggish expression on his face disappeared in an instant. Around. Boss Noeki, the guy with glasses, he bullied me before, so I didn't dare to go out for half a month. Sarutobi's Hitwin looked like a real dog, and pointed in the direction of Aizen. Aggrieved Baba cried out. That's right, this person is the original Senju Nawaka who was hollowed out during the Second Ninja World War, plus the grandson of first Hokage. I am Aizen, and you are the eldest brother of the Sarutobi group, Senju Nawaki. I happen to be looking for you too. As the grandson of first Hokage, why not punish the Sarutobi group who bullied my fellow classmates on weekdays? Give shelter, could it be that you, the direct descendant of the Senju family, have fallen to such a degree? Before Senju Nawaka could say the second sentence, Aizen followed the trend and criticized Senju Nawaki righteously with a posture of standing at the highest moral point. This move is mainly for ordinary people, so Sarutobi's Hiden and Senju Nawaki are also somewhat unexpected, and they are stunned in place. They didn't have time to say what they originally wanted to suppress Aizen. Facing Aizen's sudden attack, Senju Nawaki was stunned and his mind was in chaos. Didn't he come here today to help his younger brother out and teach his classmates who bullied him how to make it look like he is going to bully people? Moreover, as soon as he came, he directly buckled the big hat of his fellow villagers, first Hokage and Senju clan, to make Senju Nawaki really a little bit nervous. Nonsense, it was you who bullied Zhutwen, so I came to stand for him. When did we bully our compatriots? After being stunned for a few seconds, Senju Nawaki came back to his senses, and his face flushed red. Argued. Oh, I'm talking nonsense? You ask the classmates around, who doesn't know the notoriety of the Sarutobi's Hiden. It was obviously the Sarutobi's Hiden who bullied my friend before. I couldn't stand it and helped me, but now you actually say it's me who bullied him. It's like the wicked sued first. Is this the grandson of first Hokage? Aizen shook his head as he spoke, looking like he was going downhill. Because Namikaze Minato, Uchiha Fugaku, and Senju Nawaki are all figures in the ninja school. Therefore, when we all got together at this time, it naturally attracted the curious eyes of many people, and many people were standing around unconsciously. After Aizen finished saying those words, the eyes of Senju Nawaki, who were looking at him again, suddenly became a little weird. Most of them know exactly what the Sarutobi group is, and even if they don't know it, they have heard of it more or less. Relying on his background in the Sarutobi clan, he is a real tyrant in the ninja school. Even many teachers are afraid to speak out against it. He has always been the only one who bullied others. How could someone bully him for no reason? And after feeling these strange eyes, Senju Nawaki's heart suddenly burst. Could it be that Zhutwen lied to me? It was his fault from the beginning to the end, and today I have become the villain in the legend. He felt as if he had been tricked. Although Senju Nawaki is also studying at the ninja school, he works hard in his daily life and pays little attention to the outside world. Moreover, as the boss of the Sarutobi group, he is known to everyone, so no one will foolishly speak ill of the Sarutobi group in front of him. After all, in the imagination of ordinary people, the old Yamato younger brother is a raccoon dog. Senju Nawaki is a bit silly, but he's by no means stupid. If you think about it carefully, you can figure out the key, and you can't help but turn your eyes to the Sarutobi group. When Sarutobi's Hiden saw the reactions of the people around him and the suspicious eyes of his boss, he almost shivered. If his boss doesn't give him a head start today, it is estimated that he will be beaten by that demon Aizen again. Boss, you have to trust me, I absolutely can't lie to you. Sarutobi's group assured. With that firm and sincere facial acting, Aizen was amazed by it. In my heart, I called my opponent. This realistic acting also made Senju Nawaki a little surprised. Because the Senju family and the Sarutobi family are very close, and he and the Sarutobi group are also friends from childhood to adulthood, so emotionally, he still doesn't quite believe that his friends will be the kind of people who bully his classmates. On the side, Namikaze Minato and Uchiha Fugaku also understood the ins and outs of the whole thing after watching the play for a long time. No wonder Aizen said today that he didn't have a chance to fight Minato, so it was. I can testify to Aizen that Sarutobi's hidden is usually not a good thing. I don't believe that he was bullied for no reason and killed. Uchiha Fugaku stood up and said solemnly to Senju Nawaki. He had also heard of the notoriety of the Sarutobi group. I can also testify that Aizen is definitely not the kind of person who would bully his classmates. Immediately afterwards, Namikaze Minato also stood up and said seriously. At the same time, disgust inevitably appeared in his gaze towards Sarutobi's hidden. He is also a civilian ninja, and he has no sympathy for this person who bullied civilian students with his noble status. Unlike Aizen's obscurity, Namikaze Minato and Uchiha Fugaku speak with different weights. As one of the best in the ninja school, they couldn't lie for someone who bullied their classmates. That basically qualifies the thing. While the Sarutobi group was surprised that Namikaze Minato and Uchiha Fugaku were speaking for Aizen, they also drooped their heads. Say nothing, it's the default. Senju Nawaki gave this friend a hard look, full of anger in his heart. However, even though it was his own fault, Aizen was fighting a Sarutobi clan after all, and he was playing a friend who had played with him since childhood. So, it's impossible to know about this. Your name is Aizen, right? It's true that my friend was wrong. I apologize to your friend on his behalf, and then I will take him back to receive the lesson he deserves. Senju Nawaki first apologized sincerely to Aizen. Aizen was unmoved by this. He knew that there must be articles in the future. Sure enough, Senju Nawaki turned the conversation and stared at Aizen's eyes, but you can't just let it go when you hit him. He's at fault, he can be punished by the school, he can be punished by me, but he can't be punished by you. Punish. Chapter 15. Haha, what a Senju clan, they are not allowed to help others because they are at a loss. So this is the so-called Senju of the forest. I have learned a lot today. Before Aizen could speak, Uchiha Fugaku, who was beside him, couldn't stand it any longer, and he was sneering at Senju Nawaki. The reason why he speaks for Aizen. On the one hand, it is because the latter is Namikaze Minato's friend, as the so-called friend's friend is also a friend, so he will stand for Aizen. Another aspect is that Uchiha Fugaku personally dislikes the Senju family. As we all know, before the establishment of Konoha, the Uchiha clan and the Senju clan had a 1,000-year-old feud. It can be said that the two sides have a deep hatred, and people on both sides hate each other when they see each other as cheap dogs. And Uchiha Fugaku's remarks are naturally recognized by the people around them, and they keep nodding in agreement. That's right, this is entirely the fault of Sarutobi's group. What's wrong with teaching him? Senju Nawaki made it clear that he wanted to use his background to oppress others. Yeah, Senju Nawaki is too domineering. What's the difference between this and the villains in the drama who bully boys and bully girls? It's disgusting. Haha, isn't that what those ninja families have always been like? Yes, I used to admire the Senju clan, Senju Nawaki, but today I look down on them. I will look down on the Senju clan in the future. Most of the students of the ninja school are from ordinary civilians, and they are naturally inclined towards Aizen psychologically. In particular, Senju Nawaki's words just now were indeed a bit domineering and unreasonable, which made them a little dissatisfied. After all, if those family members commit crimes, they can only be punished by their family in the end, it would be too unfair to them ordinary people. You know, Aizen's situation today is also very likely to come to them. This naturally makes them choose to side with Aizen. In the excitement of the crowd, only Namikaze Minato on the other side said nothing, frowning at Senju Nawaki. Facing the accusations and ridicules of the crowd, Senju Nawaki's expression was still calm. He didn't refute anything, just asked Uchiha Fugaku gently, "Fugaku, do you think what I said is wrong? Then I want to ask you, if there are two ninjas fighting in the village, what will your Uchiha clan do with the garrison? Should only the one who made the mistake be given the heavier punishment, or should they be punished together? After that, Senju Nawaka's eyes were fixed on Uchiha Fugaku. Ah! This! Hearing this, Uchiha Fugaku's expression froze, and after a while, his face became extremely ugly. That's right, according to the regulations of their Konoha guard, no matter what the reason is, as long as there is a fight in the village, the two of them will be severely punished, but the person who caused the dispute will be punished more severely. This is actually similar to the earth in Aizen's previous life. In people's reason, as long as the cause of a dispute is simply because one person is wrong, another person can be acquitted entirely. But the truth is quite the opposite. Even if you just do what is called right by human nature, you will still be punished. This is mainly because the starting point for the formulation of social rules is to maintain order and stability, not for human morality and ethics. Rules are only about governing chaos, not right or wrong. Just like what happened to Aizen, there is nothing wrong with human morality, but if you hit someone, you hit someone, no one gives you the right to punish others, no matter what your reasons are, then you are at fault. That's what Senju Nawaka captures. Sure enough, as expected of someone who would become a disciple of Orochimaru later, although he looks similar to Uzumaki Naruto, his mind is definitely not the same as Uzumaki Naruto. Aizen sighed silently. From the first day of his time travel, he knew very well that this matter could never be good, so he was already mentally prepared for such a situation, so he was not surprised. And Namikaze Minato, who was next to him, also noticed this very early, and all of them were silent before. Then tell me, how do we end this matter? Aizen asked. It's very simple, since you did it because you helped your friend, I won't make it difficult for you, and I won't raise this matter to the level of the Sarutobi clan and the Senju clan, as long as I also fight you once in the name of helping my friend, regardless of the outcome. This is the end of the matter, what do you think? Senju Nawaka chuckled. However, although Senju Nawaka's words seemed to give Lan Ran a choice, it implied another meaning. That is, if you don't accept my challenge, Senju Nawaka will raise this matter to the level of the ninja clan, and then the result will be far from what it is now comparable to. Simply put, it's a threat. Because challenging another person in a combat class requires the other person's consent. In normal Konoha, fighting between ninjas is strictly forbidden. That's why the Sarutobi group had to wait until the actual combat class before letting Senju Nawaka help out. As for his previous fight with Aizen? Sorry, it wasn't a fight, just a one-sided beating. Closer to home, this threat was also prepared by Senju Nawaka, who was afraid that Aizen would not dare to accept his challenge. Although there have been some small episodes before, it seems that oneself has become a bad person, but, fortunately, these methods can still be used. Thinking of this, Senju Nawaka took another look at the Sarutobi's Hiden, and there was some dissatisfaction with his friends in his heart. However, in any case, my friend was caught up, even if the cause of the matter was indeed wrong on our side, but the place still had to be found. At most, it's enough to teach a little lesson to the guy named Aizen, and don't have to beat him in the way he imagined at the beginning. Okay, as you say. Aizen smiled and nodded. All this was within his expectations. First of all, although Aizen beat Sarutobi's Hiden, no matter which side is the righteous side, they are just a few ninja school children playing around, and it is unlikely to rise to the level of family elders and clan. In the end, this matter will still be resolved among the juniors, so the Sarutobi's Hiden only shouted that his elder brother Senju Nawaka would avenge him, but did not say that his elders would avenge him. In general, things can't be good is something Aizen was sure of from the start. The final solution is also similar to what he guessed. Oh! Senju Nawaka was also a little surprised to see Aizen's answers so decisive and straightforward. He originally thought that the other party would hesitate and struggle for a long time, but he did not expect to agree so quickly. But it doesn't matter, just teach the other party a little lesson and let him know that the sky is high and the earth is thick. As for losing? Sorry, Senju Noeka didn't even think about this in his head. Chapter 16. Alright then, I'll wait for you at the training ground number 4, and look forward to the showdown with you. We'll see you later. Senju Noeka's mouth curled into a smile, and he turned his head and took his younger brother away. And the Sarutobi group raised their eyebrows after hearing that Aizen would still fight their boss. Before leaving, they did not forget to give Aizen a provocative smile. This expression is like when you traveled to Mount Ime and met a rogue monkey who stole your belongings. Before leaving, he did not forget to give you a wild smile. In short, it makes you want to hit people. This guy really needs to be beaten. No wonder he was beaten by you, Aizen, and now even I want to slap him hard. Uchiha Fugaku looked at the back of Sarutobi's departure with displeased eyes, and said with disdain. After speaking, Uchiha Fugaku paused, looked at Aizen with some worry, and said, Aizen, are you sure about dealing with Senju Noeki? Although that guy lost to Minato once half a year ago, but after all, it has been half a year. Now, with their Senju clan's physique and chakra, the speed of progress is very fast. No one can guarantee how strong that guy is now. In their class, the number 1 throne undoubtedly belongs to Namikaze Minato. As for the second position, it is Senju Noeki. Uchiha Fugaku could only settle for third. Although he already knew from Namikaze Minato's mouth that Aizen's strength was good, he had never seen it with his own eyes, so he was still a little uncertain. Yet, Aizen, Senju Noeka's strength is definitely not simple, you must not be careless. Namikaze Minato also reminded, his eyes full of seriousness. The first battle between Senju Noeki and him also left a deep impression on him. Of course, Senju Noeki is still a lot worse than the fight with Aizen. But still, no one dares to be 100% sure how strong Senju Noeki will be after half a year. Don't worry, Minato, Fugaku, I will never lose to him. Aizen smiled confidently. With the memory of Shinigami Aizensuke's life, and his talent slightly higher than Namikaze Minato, if he can't even beat a Senju Noeki of the same age, how can he punch Uchiha Madara and kick Satsuki Kagaya in the future? Seeing Aizen's confident smile, Namikaze Minato is confident in this new friend, although Uchiha Fugaku is still a little worried. Only he who has fought Aizen once will know what kind of monster that guy is. On the other side, Senju Noeki and Sarutobi's Hiden have come to the training ground number 4. That's great, boss, you must have a good meal with that Aizen later, and let us know how good we are. Sarutobi group exclaimed excitedly. However, the only response to him was a deadpan punch from Senju Noeki. Boom! The Sarutobi's Hiden was beaten to the core, and there were 2 streams of blood coming out of their noses. Woo! Boss, it's me, why did you hit me? Sarutobi wanted to cry without tears. Humph! You are so embarrassed to say that you bullied your classmates and got beaten up by other people's friends, but you are embarrassed to ask me to help you. After I go back, I will talk to Uncle Sarutobi about this matter. If you let me hear you bullying your classmates again in the future. You don't need that Aizen to shoot, I'll beat you into a pig's head first. Senju Noeki snorted coldly and said. As the grandson of first Hokage, he has been poisoned by his grandfather's will of fire since childhood, and he is determined to become a man of Hokage. After hearing these words, Sarutobi's Hiden felt that the sky was about to fall, and his eyes darkened, and he fainted in an instant. Seeing this, Senju Noeki shook his head helplessly, and asked a classmate next to him to help carry the Sarutobi group to the medical room, while he waited for Aizen's arrival by himself. Since the previous confrontation between Aizen and others and Senju Noeki has already caused a lot of trouble, and the news of the confrontation between Aizen and Senju Noeki has been widely known, therefore, the number 4 training ground at this time has come one after another. Watch less lively students. Hey, have you heard? Senju Noeki from the 2nd grade is going to compete with the students of their grade. No way, the one from the Senju clan? I remember he once took the first place in a senior year with a single move, Who in their grade has the strength to compete with him? Could it be the Namikaze Minato who is more famous than him? No, it is said that a guy with a little reputation in their grade beat his younger brother. Senju Noeki is going to give his younger brother a head start. Oh, yes, that guy is really unlucky. Never mind, I haven't seen that genius take action for a long time anyway. It's better to go and see the excitement, although the result may be a little boring. Haha, yes, I hope that the unlucky guy is stronger. It's better to hold on for a while, so that you can see more of Senju Noeki's style. Who said it wasn't? Most of the people who went there thought so. Almost all of the people watching the lively wanted to pay homage to Senju Noeki, a top talent. As for the possibility of Senju Noeki losing? Sorry, no one but Namikaze Minato has this idea at the moment. Uchiha Fugaku only counts as half. Look, here we come. Suddenly, there was a commotion in the crowd, and then, the figures of Aizen and others appeared in the eyes of everyone. That's Aizen, he looks so handsome and temperamental. Yes, yes, what a great boy, I feel like I'm falling in love. Humph, what's the use of being good looking, I'm not going to be tyrannized by Senju Noeki later. Because of Aizen's super high appearance, it has attracted the attention of many little girls in the crowd, resulting in a little weirdness in the style of the scene. Of course, this inevitably led to some boys being unhappy with Aizen. However, this was just a small episode after all, and it did not affect the few people in the center of the storm at all. At this time, Senju Noeki was standing in the center of the training ground, silently watching the arrival of Aizen and the others. And Namikaze Minato and Uchiha Fugaku stopped at the edge of the training ground like the others, watching Aizen walk towards Senju Noeki. You really came, yes, you have some courage. Soon after, Senju Noeki praised, looking at Aizen standing not far in front of him. Really, thank you for your compliment. Aizen chuckled. Hey, not much to say, let's start. Perhaps because of seeing Aizen's bland gesture, Senju Noeki felt a little unhappy in his heart, and snorted coldly, forming a sign of reconciliation. Okay. Aizen nodded, followed by a sign of reconciliation. The battle between the two sides is imminent. Chapter 17. A handful of kunao slipped out of his sleeve, and after Senju Noeki opened his hand to hold it, he slammed into Aizen with the soles of his feet. Not to be outdone, Aizen took out a kunao in each of his hands and attacked Senju Noeki head-on. Ping pong pong! Accompanied by the continuous sound of a metal collision, the figures of the two continued to flicker and move in the training ground. The physical competition between the two sides is very intense. No way, it's incredible that this little-known guy can have such a fierce physical confrontation with Senju Noeki. Yeah, I remember the first in the senior year, but he was kicked over by Senju Noeki. Well, it seems that this guy dares to join Senju Noeki's younger brother, and he still has a certain strength. Humph, it's just the beginning, Senju Noeki is far from showing his true strength. That's right, it's just that Taijutsu can compete with Senju Noeki. As a ninja, the next ninjutsu confrontation is the key. With this guy's background as a civilian ninja, what kind of decent ninjutsu can he come up with? It is estimated that Noeki will use it for a while. He has never even heard of ninjutsu, how can this win? That's right, the background of the Senju family is far from what a guy from a commoner background with a little ninja talent can compete with. The expected one-sided situation did not happen, which made the people who eat melons next to him couldn't help but sigh with admiration for Aizen. However, some of the ninja noble children on the side did not take it seriously. To think that the commoner ninjas want to compete with the young masters of the Senju clan is simply a fantasy. Fugaku, what do you think? Namikaze Minato asked Uchiha Fugaku next to him, looking at the two of them in the arena, raising the corner of his mouth. It's very powerful. Both sides have better physical skills than me. However, as far as these two are concerned, Senju Nowake's strength seems to be superior to Aizen's. However, Aizen's physical skills seem to. Uchiha Fugaku first nodded in agreement, and then when analyzing Aizen, as if he had discovered something incredible, he suddenly widened his eyes and cast his searching eyes on Namikaze Minato. Yeah, that's what you think. Namikaze Minato chuckled. Guru. Uchiha Fugaku swallowed hard, and it took a long time for him to react. He looked at Aizen in the field with shocked eyes, and said with emotion, I originally thought that a monster like you was unique, but I didn't expect it. There's even a second one. At the same time, the form in the field also changed immediately. Aizen's kunao cut into Senju Nowake's neck from an odd angle, but unfortunately, Senju Nowake managed to dodge at the last moment, only cutting through Senju Nowake's collar. Earth style, subsidence. Senju Nowake slapped the ground with one hand, and countless cracks appeared on the ground, and countless dirt collapsed toward the ground. Aizen was also forced to step back because there was no ground as a support point. Senju Nowake also seized this opportunity and stepped back sharply. Tick! A drop of cold sweat slid down Senju Nowake's cheeks and tickled onto the hard ground. It's very dangerous. If I hadn't used the ground trap to force him back just now, his second move would definitely have hit me. Senju Nowake looked at Aizen in the distance with lingering fears, his face extremely ugly. Aizen's strength is completely different from what he knew before. In the physical battle just now, it seemed that the two of them were evenly matched, but only he knew that he was the only one who was at a disadvantage from beginning to end. Aizen's pervert reaction and awareness made him almost exhausted from the start. If it weren't for his strength being stronger than Aizen, he would have almost ended the game just now. This kind of control and analysis of the details of the battle, this kind of unparalleled neural reflexibility, it's just like the Namikaze Minato who fought with me back then. Senju Nowake thought in disbelief. Could you be another Namikaze Minato? Senju Nowake stared at Aizen, his fingers turning white. As the direct descendant of the Senju clan, the grandson of first Hokage, Senju Nowake is different from Tsunade. Tsunade is only a woman, and he is a male of the direct line. From the moment he was born, he was placed in high hopes by the family in Konoha. Over the years, in order to maintain the honor of the Senju family and the prestige of first Hokage, he hardly had any time to play, and devoted himself to cultivation. No matter what he does, he strives to be the first, no matter how difficult the process is, he never complains of bitterness. Especially the backwardness in cultivation, which he absolutely cannot tolerate. He lost the battle to Namikaze Minato half a year ago, so he directly locked himself in the house for half a month, and finally recovered. Today, his original plan was to finish teaching the BD who beat his younger brother first, and then challenge that guy Namikaze Minato. But he never imagined that the person who bullied his younger brother, who was usually unknown at the ninja school, actually had talent comparable to Namikaze Minato. This makes Senju Nowake a little excited. I don't care if you're the second Namikaze Minato or something else, today, even if Namikaze Minato fights me personally, I'm going to beat him. Senju Nowake clenched his fists fiercely and roared wildly in his brain. Fire style fire extinguishing. Senju Nowake's hands continued to form seals, and finally formed a tiger seal, opened his mouth, and suddenly a raging fire burst out from it. It was captured by the Senju clan and the Uchiha clan during the years of war. It is also the strongest ninjutsu of his current master. Since taijutsu can't win, let's use ninjutsu to decide the winner. The Senju family is not only extremely powerful in terms of physique and chakra, but also has many talents in ninjutsu that are beyond the reach of many people. Because the attack range of this fire stream is too large, it is no longer suitable for the training ground of this ninja school. One after another, the 4 benefit fire snakes continued to spread around the training ground, causing the students who were watching the lively around to keep shouting.
वीडियोस बनाने हैं, फिल्मोरा है ना?